Vee. And before we begin, as you can see, I flipped the background behind me. And listen, I have to explain myself, okay? Listen, the reason why it was the other way around is because when I purchased this backdrop, the way it was advertised is that you could flip it either way you want. So you could have like a summery feel or a wintry feel. And winter's my favorite season, so I wanted to flip it the other way. But I got so many comments that were like,
is she dumb? Does she not know which way trees go? Does she see that her backdrop's the wrong way? She knows that leaves go on top and not underneath, right?
And yes, guys, I've seen trees before. I've lived around them my whole life. I was just trying to do something different, but because you guys thought it looked so strange, I flipped it. So there you go. I kind of missed the weird antlers that I had, but it's okay. I won't cry about it or anything. Anyways, so guys, if you would like to win this backdrop behind me, all you have to do is be subscribed to this channel, so my Jessii Vee channel, turn on your notification bell, and then head over to my Instagram page called Jessii Vee Merch. It's a new one that I started. Go there and follow, and then DM me your favorite season of the year. All right, so in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a very creepy game called The Theater. This game is definitely more of a creepypasta. Some people believe it actually existed, and other people say it's just an old creepy story. There's an old PC game called The Theater that most people say doesn't actually exist. But like I said, a small group of people remember playing this game when they were a kid. On some sites that I was researching, people say it was created in the 90s, which is when I was born, and I don't remember this game. So comment down below if you remember playing this computer game. When I was a kid, I used to play Pajama Sam and Freddy the Fish. Do you guys remember those games, or am I too old? Alright, so this computer game called The Theater is super rare to find anymore. Some people find it in old garage sales. Sometimes they can find old bootleg CDs at creepy old stores. And if you look at the cover of this computer game, you'll see a man named the Ticket Taker. He's super pixelated and poorly drawn, wearing a red vest with red lips. He looks completely emotionless on the cover of this CD. And some people say that if you purposely throw this CD on the floor and pick it up, his face will look extremely angry. So basically, if you disrespect this CD, he's not okay with it. What's even weirder about this game is that if you flip over the disc, there's no description of the game. You know when you buy a computer game, on the back it talks about what the game is, how many players you can use, it has all the information. This game has nothing. So you have no idea what you're getting into until you put the game into your computer and start playing. And some people don't even get that far. The legend says that most of the time when you insert this disc into your computer, it breaks your computer. It'll either freeze and shut down. Some people's computers have literally broken to the point where they have to buy a new one. Other people say the game will start to load and halfway through loading, it'll just shut down. But there have been a few successful people that have played it. So I'm gonna talk to you guys about what happens in this game. Once the game starts, you're standing in an empty movie theater lobby. The only other person in the lobby with you is the ticket taker. And he's basically standing in front of this long, dark hallway, and you can't see anything beyond him, just darkness. And when you approach him and take the ticket out of his hands, he says, "Thank you, please enjoy the movie," in a very robotic, almost muffled voice. Some people say his voice is so muffled that you can barely understand what he's saying to you. You then walk into the hallway, and apparently all over the walls beside you are these poorly drawn movie theater posters. Everything on them is pixelated so you can barely see what they say. As you're walking down the hallway, the screen slowly fades to black, and suddenly the game puts you back to where you started, standing in the lobby in front of the ticket taker. And apparently this keeps happening over and over again in a cycle. You take the ticket, walk down the hallway for a little bit, suddenly the screen turns black and you start from the beginning again. So this whole game seems pretty pointless, right? You're just doing the same thing over and over again. You never actually get to sit down and watch this movie. Well, apparently the more times you go through this cycle, something weird starts to happen. Some people say you have to do this 400 times before the game changes. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I would not have the patience to go through this cycle that many times. I mean, it must take you literally all day long. So on your 400th time, you take the ticket from this ticket taker and walk down the hallway. And this time it lets you keep walking down this hallway longer than it did before. Players have said they felt felt incredibly uncomfortable during this part because they felt like something terrible was about to happen. Some people even reported feeling really sick to their stomachs or having a headache during this part because it felt like they were walking down this hallway for minutes and minutes. So what happens next is, as you're walking down this hallway, the man who took your ticket starts to change. He appears in the shadows and corners of your screen, but his face is not the same as it was before. This time his face is all swirly and weird. His face is like black and white. It almost looks like this hypnotic state. People call him the swirly head man, and you can only see this swirly head man the more you go through these cycles. And every time he pops up on the screen, this loud screech sound is heard, and it won't let you turn the volume down. It basically pierces your ears as you're playing this game. And after a while, this swirly head man's mouth starts opening wider and wider and wider, and he starts coming closer to the screen. And for some reason, players have said they were unable to look away from him. It was almost like he was literally hypnotizing them. And suddenly the game glitches out and shuts down. And the creepiest part of this whole thing is that players who have played this game said that even though the game was over and they went about their lives, they claimed to occasionally see a brief glimpse of the swirly head man out of the corner of their eyes. And they're just unable to escape his face, even in their regular lives not playing the game. That is so creepy. Now, there are so many different versions of this creepypasta, so if you've heard a slightly different one, that is why. But I think because this creepypasta was so popular, I think it came out in 2010, people actually did make a theater game based off of this creepypasta. So it's not the original one this whole creepy story is about, but people tried to like mimic the game. So yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I would not play that. Alright, I wanted to briefly talk about another creepy story that I found online by an anonymous poster. It's called Theater 12. This is not about a game, it's just about a creepy theater story that I wanted to include since our whole theme is creepy theaters. There's a story about a guy who worked the late shift at an old movie theater in his small town. Now, this theater didn't get a ton of crowds because the town was so small, so there were probably a total of only 50 people that went to a movie in one day, which is a very small amount of people. I mean, where I'm from, there's probably thousands of people who go to the theater every single day. And because there's not that many, that is why most days it's a pretty quiet place. So the last movie that played at this theater ended at 12:30 in the morning. So after everyone left, it was his job to walk through all the theaters to make sure everyone was gone. And basically he just went around picking up extra garbage, extra popcorn on the ground, just doing a basic look over and cleanup. So he went through all the theaters in order. He went through 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up until 12. And 12 was the very last theater at the end of the hallway. As he walked into theater 12, he got this weird feeling right away. He felt like something was wrong, felt like something was watching him. You know when you just get that feeling? He felt like he wasn't alone, but nevertheless, he walked up and down the aisles, looked through everything, and didn't see anyone there. So he finished cleaning up, and as he walked back into the hallway, he heard this strange sound. It almost sounded like clicking coming from behind him. Like someone was literally clicking their tongue. You know that noise I'm talking about. But he turned around and didn't see anyone there, so he kept walking down the hallway thinking it was nothing. But the sound continued from behind him, so he decided to turn around and go investigate because it was his job to make sure nothing was left in the theater. It led him back towards Theater 12, so he walked inside to do one last check. As he walked inside the door, the clicking sound got louder and louder and almost echoed inside the theater. He called out to the large empty room and just said, "Hello? Is anyone still here?" There was no answer, and he started walking up the stairs looking down the aisle seats once again. And the farther he climbed the stairs, the louder the clicking got. Nothing was seen in the front rows, so he kept walking. Nothing was seen in the center rows, so he kept walking. So he went to look in the very top row, which is something he probably skipped over last time he went and looked. And as he got closer, the clicking got closer, but in between those clicks was almost this wheezing laughter, like someone found it humorous that the man was looking for him. So he peered over the last row of seats, and crouched down on the ground was this man making this clicking noise over and over. the man turned his head while he was crouched and started smiling at this movie theater guy. So he ran out, told all the staff, and they had to get security to come and actually escort this guy out of the theater. And the whole time he was being brought out, he was laughing hysterically and doing these clicking noises in between. So it was a very creepy experience. I don't know if this was a creepypasta or if this was actually a real experience. Could you imagine? But yeah, I thought it was creepy enough to include in this video. Anyways, guys, comment down below if you've ever played the theater game or if you've heard of that creepypasta before. And yeah, if you want me to do more videos like this, give this video a thumbs up and let me know. But I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!